What's up, boys? Welcome to the Sailor Jerry Saturday podcast. Week 1, 2019-2020 season. We have the usuals, myself, Jay Karachi, along with co-hosts Keith Quasagro and Chris Chickus. But we do have a special guest today, Commissioner Anthony P. Quinto, a.k.a. Don Juan,
the Commish is in the house.
The Asian Persuasion. What it do, Quinto? How's it going?
What's good, boys? What's good, boys? Happy to be here. Excited to put my input on this, and let's get this shit going.
All right, that's good. I do want to get this shit going since we just had to wait for Trickus for 25 minutes. But anyways, what I want to do first, boys, is I want to review Week 1 outcomes and records. So obviously, Week 1's done. We had some dud performances like myself and Dorf, and then we also had some really good performances like Trim and Casey. So I kind of want to review that a little bit, but before we go over the outcomes of Week 1, just want to break down the record real quick. You know, it's only one game, so you're either 1-0 or you're 0-1 at this point. But in first place is Casey, then it goes Trim, Keith, Jimmy, Trickus, Billy. So if playoffs were to start today, that would be the playoff. And then after that, it's 7 through 12, Nico, Basla, Quinto, myself, Grono, and Dorf. So Week 1 for me was kind of a dud. You know, my performance as far as, you know, me personally, my top 3 performers scored 17 total points.
Yeah, that hurts.
So that really sucked. But, you know, for the top, Casey, he beat Quinto 168-95. Quinto, you want to give a little recap on that? That's kind of a butt whooping.
Yeah, not too much to say there. I mean, I got my butt whooped. He had a great team. They put up some big numbers, and my team just did not show up to play. I'm sure we've all experienced it. Not how I want to start the season, but, you know, it's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I was kind of in the same boat, except you were a little more lopsided than mine was. But then Trim, we had Trim. He beat Nico 148-126. Kind of a tough loss for Nico since how he would have beat like 6 or 7 other players this week. But he came across Trim, who had a very solid week. And then next was Keith. He beat Basla 139-106. Keith, why don't you give your input on your Week 1 performance?
I just had a huge day from Austin Eckler. I drafted him. I reached for him because I went wide receivers for my first 3 picks. So, I mean, my running backs are Sony Michel and Austin Eckler, and he just popped off. So that was great. Sony did nothing, and he just Basler starting Sterling Shepard. Zeke with not a full game. They tempered his touches because we honestly really didn't even need him against the Giants. And he unfortunately started Jameis Winston, which if you looked at the stats of that game, Jameis lost that game by himself. So
it's like last year all over again.
Yeah, so that's how I squeaked that one out.
Yeah, I saw that, Austin Eckler. I saw how you took him in the draft just like you tried to take James Conner last year. It worked for you last year, so why wouldn't you do it again?
Well, I just got to pray that Melvin Gordon never shows up, and I'll be all right.
Yeah, you're probably good there. But then after that, J-Mo beat Jay Grow 136-90. That really wasn't a matchup. Jay Grow had a bad week. But the next matchup was Trickus. He beat Dorf 135-73. So Trickus still put up good 125. So Trickus still put up good numbers. But obviously Dorf had an exceptionally bad week. Trickus, why don't you give your input on that matchup?
It wasn't even fair. I mean, Tyreek Hill came out of the game. Stephon Diggs is injured for him, so he didn't really play that much. Tevin Coleman's on IR. I mean, that basically describes his first week. So
yeah, he is not starting off good this week.
Got to recover. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully he can recover week 2. This is the week to do it. And you'll go from 0 to 1, 1 to 1. But then the last matchup was Billy and myself. It was pretty much a very boring matchup between myself and Billy. None of us really did good. It was 101 to 95. Like I said, my top 3 picks really didn't do much. My second best performer was my kicker. So that goes to show you how that week was. It was kind of boring. But Billy got the win, so he's 1-0. So obviously it's a big week for week 2 coming up. It's going to start to see some spreads there as far as records go, maybe some 0-2s, 2s and 0s. But what I want to do next is I want to get into our first segment, which is our top picks of the week. So what we're going to do from here on out is we're going to take one player from each position, and we're going to pretty much try to predict which player from each position that we think is going to be the top performer for the week. So we're not going to do kicker. We're just going to do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. But I really want to start out with the quarterbacks. So we'll start with you, Keith. Who do you think is going to be the top performer this week for the quarterbacks?
I'm going to try to do this unbiased, but I have Dak.
Oh my gosh.
This week. Destroyed you boys last weekend. 4 touchdowns, new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, don't
Now
tell me
offense
about
is
it.
looking spicy. And I don't think the Redskins have anything better to offer than the Giants. So I would expect another 350 yard game from him. 3 touchdowns, maybe sprinkling a rushing touchdown in there. A couple rushing first downs. I'm really high on Dak, obviously. So that's my dude this week.
All right. Trickus, what about you?
Well, to be honest, mine was Dak, so I agree with you, but I changed mine. I'm going to switch it to Tom Brady because Tom Brady's playing Miami. Sorry, Anthony, but it's going to be a shit show.
Oh man, I'd have to disagree there. I think they're going to run the ball a lot, but I respect your decision on
Just
that
wait
pick.
till my running back, then I'll tell you.
Oh, great.
What about you, Kinto? Who's your quarterback this week?
I'm going to choose a little bit of dark horse. Yeah, didn't really show up to play last week. I think he's going to play angry. I think his receiver is going to be just as angry as he is, and I think they're going to go out there and get it done. I'm choosing Baker Mayfield. I'm going to call Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a touchdown over to Jarvis. I think he's going to have a touchdown to Njoku.
Who are they playing this week? Cleveland.
Cleveland is playing, and I was just looking at this. They're playing the Jets. This week.
Monday night. They're playing Monday night.
And the Jets just lost to the Bills, so the Cleveland should definitely do some work. The Bills beat them.
Yeah.
But anyways, for me, I was going to, I was really thinking Tom Brady, but I'm going to have, because nobody else did it, I'm going to have to go with the best quarterback in the game, Patrick Mahomes. It's an easy pick.
Yeah, that's the obvious one.
And he's at Oakland. And, I think, obviously, even without Tyreek Hill, he's still going to be the best. Sammy Watkins went off last week, so he obviously doesn't need Tyreek Hill to do anything. And as long as he has Travis Kelce, he'll be good. But that's my pick for quarterback. So let's go on to running backs. We'll start it with you this time, Trickus. Who do you got
right.
running back?
I don't mean to go Patriot heavy here, but this honestly depends on the game script. So Sony Michel is my pick for running back, but here's the thing. It's either he's going to score 3 touchdowns or he could have 50 yards and that's it. So he's a boom or bust. Right. So if it's the same game script as last week, we're not going to see it. But if indeed it happens, I mean, they could go to Sony Michel and at the goal line and he could score 3 touchdowns. So it could be Sony Michel. That's my pick.
So it'd have to be a game where Tom Brady goes off while throwing touchdowns to Sony Michel.
Yeah,
or
could happen.
So you're saying he's rushing it. So Tom Brady.
He could.
So Sony has to score 3 touchdowns on the ground, and Tom Brady has to throw 3 touchdowns in the air.
Here's my thing. It's either going to be Tom Brady.
I think they're going to win.
Quarterback, or
that,
Sony Michel is going to be the number 1 running back. It's either or. I can't go with both, but
you have to remember Miami beat Patriots last year.
Yeah, we did
at Miami. and they're
That was
playing
before-
at Miami.
That was before Miami players jumped ship completely.
Doesn't matter. Still home game and still conference game. I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout as you think it is. I still think Patriots are going to win, but I don't see Sony scoring 3 touchdowns. Maybe,
I bet you
or
they
if he
beat him
does,
by
I don't
20
see Tom
points.
Brady being the number 1 quarterback. But what about you, Kinto? Who's your running back?
I'm going to select the Alvin Kamara. Saints are playing the Rams this week. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think they're going to be able to run it up the middle quite as well as they think they are. So I think there's going to be a lot of passes out of the backfield to Kamara, a lot of tosses. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, maybe like a 42-35 type game.
Yeah.
See what happens. Excited to watch that one for sure.
That's a good pick. I think that Kamara's a stud either way, and if he scores a touchdown, he's just sprinkle on the cake. But he's going to get his no matter what. The only thing is it's at LA, I believe. But I don't think that matters for Kamara. But I don't know if it'll matter for their offense overall. But what about you, Keith? Who you got for your running back?
Me and Don are on the same wavelength. I had Alvin.
Nice.
I see that being a high-scoring game. After watching that first Saints game, he's the feature in that offense. They sprinkle in Latavius much less than they were sprinkling in Ingram before.
Yeah.
So he's just going to eat, and if it's a high-scoring game, he's going to eat more. They're going to put him in space. They're going to get him the ball, and I just see him kind of having one of those extraordinary games. Right.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Murray stole a touchdown from him last week, but that was a nice run by Murray. So he's going to do that throughout the year, just like Ingram did. I don't think he's as good as Ingram, so I think that's better for Kamara, but I think he's still going to steal some touchdowns from him. For me, I'm going to have to go with my boy who's playing Buffalo this week, my boy Saquon, who even when they have a shitty game, he gets 11 touches for 120 yards because he's that much of a stud, and now he's playing the Bills. The Bills don't have that bad of a defense, but Barkley's all we got. So I think he's always a good pick. So I'm going with Barkley. But next we got wide receivers. I'm gonna start it off, and I'm gonna go with Sammy Watkins. I think he goes back-to-back performances, especially with Tyreek Hill out now. I think he's gonna go off. It's either him or Kelsey, or maybe they split some touchdowns, but somebody's got to score with Tyreek Hill for the long play not being there. I think Sammy Watkins is going to be that guy at Oakland. But Kinto, who do you have for your top wide receiver?
I'm going on with another bounce back type of player. Obviously, an elite option out there, but Devontae Adams, 4 receptions, 36 yards last week. They got the dub, which is the most important thing for the Packers, but I don't think he really had the game that he wanted, and I think he's going to come back strong. I think him and Rodgers going to hook up for a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely did not have a good week. And the thing that stinks is I drafted him first. Last year, I don't think he had 1 week under 12 points all year. He was like the most consistent fantasy football player all year. First week this year, he hits me with a 6, like a 6.5. So definitely that was a shitty, boring game anyways overall. But I think that's a good pick. What about you, Keith? Who you got for your wide receiver?
I think Keith froze.
I
think he froze.
All right, we'll skip Keith. What about you, Trickus?
Keith, you there?
Hey, there you are.
Yeah, no, I wasn't frozen. I guess I was. I don't know. All right, we're all back.
You're definitely frozen. That's all right.
All right, it looked good on mine, but whatever.
Who's your wide receiver?
Like I was saying, I'm with you. I got Sammy. Tyreek's out. That offense isn't going to stop rolling. He's going to throw to somebody, and it's probably going to be either Sammy Watkins or Travis Kelce.
Yep.
So, I think that one, just looking at matchups and everything, that one was pretty obvious to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he had another 100-yard, 2-touchdown game.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Trickus? Who's your wide receiver?
I'm choosing Julio Jones this week, and I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to turn things around this week. last week they sucked. Honestly, at the beginning of the game they looked like garbage until the end, and that always seems to happen with Matt Ryan. That's why I love having Matt Ryan as a quarterback, is he gets garbage time. But I'm hoping that Julio Jones gets a couple touchdowns before that happens, so that way his numbers look a little bit better this week. He had 11 targets last week, so he's thrown it to Julio. So we're just waiting for that touchdown game.
Right. What about? Well, I mean, who was it? Ridley? Didn't Kevin Ridley have a touchdown? He scored a touchdown last year. Yeah. But no, I think that's a good pick. I don't really like Matt Ryan, to be honest. He's too inconsistent. He's MVP one year, the next year he sucks. And week one this year would be his down year. So week one looks like that's a sign that could be the truth this year. But we'll see. He's a good
thing I drafted him.
I mean, he didn't do bad last week, Matt Ryan.
No.
Yeah, I
mediocre.
Right, it wasn't great, but yeah, he wasn't horrible. But let's go to tight ends. Quinto, who you got this week?
Not necessarily a bounce back. He had a decent week. Zach Ertz, 5 receptions for 54 yards. Not a bad week by any means for an average tight end, but he's not an average tight end. This guy is a G. I think Carson Wentz is going to hook up with him for maybe 10 plus receptions, 120 yards, and hopefully a touchdown. I think he's going to crush it out there this week and see what happens. I'm excited to watch this one. I got him a couple of my fantasy teams, so looking forward to it.
Let me ask you this: do you think, on a separate note, you think Deshaun Jackson can keep up being a stud receiver for Carson Wentz the whole year, or you think that was just a one-off game?
I think it's gonna be a New Year's same story with Deshaun Jackson, right? He's gonna have some games where he gets a couple catches for 10, 15 yards, maybe 20, and he's gonna have games where he catches 5 to 10 for like he did last week, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's insane. I think he adds a great element to that offense, and he's gonna take the top off that thing.
Yeah, high ceiling, low floor.
Yes, sir.
He is definitely that type of player. Keith, who you got for your tight end?
I have, and it hurts me to say this, but I have your boy Evan Ingram.
My boy.
He had 11 receptions last week.
Target fiend.
You guys are really hurting at the wide receiver position. So your offense literally, sprinkling them in and outside screen plays, finding ways to get this dude the ball. So if that is any indication, that's going to probably happen again this week. And I can see him getting 10-plus receptions again, 100 yards, maybe sprinkling a touchdown.
Yeah, I like that pick. Plus, Sterling Shepard is in concussion protocol, so who knows if he will even play. As of right now, he's doubtful, so that just means he's literally our only guy, which is good, but at the same time, he's going to get all the coverage from the defense. So who knows how that's going to play out. All I know is we're going to throw him the ball 10 to 15 times a game, and we're going to do that every single game. So it doesn't matter who we're playing. But for me, for my tight end, I got my boy Delaney Walker. I picked him up late in the draft, and he was my best top performer last week, and I think they're playing. Who are they playing this week? Oh, Indianapolis. That's right. They're playing the Colts this week.
Yep.
So I think he could have another week. Maybe not have a couple touchdowns like he did last week, but I think he could still score again this week. So I have him, and it's a home game too, so that's a plus. But what about you, Trickus?
My pick was Evan Ingram, and I'm pretty excited about that because I have him on my team. But I'll switch over to another tight end who I picked off of waivers this week, which is Hawkinson from Detroit. I think he's going to be like the George Kittle of last year, and
that's a pretty tough comparison you got. George Kittle
we'll have to see
broke the record for most receiving yards last year.
I wouldn't say he's going to do that, but I'm just saying he's the big tight end that everybody's looking for. They don't know his name. I mean, he was the top first round pick in the draft. They picked him at I think it was the 8th spot. So Detroit is going to use him. He was in the game majority of I think if not all of the game. So I think he's going to get all the touches, and I think all the targets, and we'll see what happens. And again, I have 2 tight ends, so if anybody's looking for a tight end, feel free to send me a trade. You know my name.
Yeah, right.
Great
This guy. Also, since Trickus just brought that up, I want to throw this out there to the group. Trickus wants to have a weekly Trickus trade topic.
Yeah.
And I told him not this week, but I want everybody's opinion. So throw me in the group chat. Let me know what you guys think.
Basically, what I do is
us
go
to talk
over
about
trade.
Trickus and trades? You know, I don't want Trickus blood to start flowing over there. You know, he's got a half chode right now. So let me know your picks. Let me know your thoughts on that. But lastly, for the segment, we're gonna go over defense real quick. You know, I'll start it off. I have New England at Miami. I think New England's got a great defense. I think Miami's offense sucks. So there you go. What about you, Kinto? How you feel about that?
Oh man, you know it's one of those things you kind of got to face reality, and
yeah,
and just roll with the punches. You know, we're in rebuilding mode right now. I think Brian Flores he's making some decisions that probably aren't making fans too happy, but you know, he signed I think he signed a 4-year contract. Most coaches sign a 3-year contract. So I think, you know, Stephen Ross has has an idea of, you know, where this is going to go, and we might have a down year or two, but I think we're in a rebuilding period, and I think it's going to pay off in the end. We got to have the right mentality, the right attitude.
Everybody thinks that. I've been thinking that for the last 5 years. But good luck, buddy. Who you got for your defense though this week?
Oh man, you're gonna hate me for this one. I'm going out on a limb here. The Bills defense, and here's why. Josh Allen, 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, still somehow found a way to win the game. Incredible performance by the Bills D. I can't tell you the last time I've seen a team turn the ball over 4 times and still edge out the win. I think they're gonna show up to play. It's in New York. Kind of a semi-home game for them. They're gonna have a lot of fans there. Really excited to see this happen.
Yeah, buddy.
That's a good pick. The funny thing is too about that, they just played the Jets in the same stadium.
Right.
So they're literally in the same. Both away games are in the same stadium, back-to-back weeks. The first to open up both weeks. So they might even be more comfortable now this week than they were last week. Who knows? I mean, I think that's a disadvantage to the Giants, because, you know, two weeks in a row in the same stadium, they can have some sort of, you know, comfort zone now this week compared to last week. But Trickus, who you got this week?
Originally I was doing the Patriots defense just because it was so obvious, but I'm going to go with the Houston Texans because they are playing Jacksonville with a new quarterback to the system and
Mustache Minshew.
Yeah.
Hey, that kid balled out. Last week. He filled in.
We'll see what happens.
So let me get this straight. You just pretty much think New England's going to shit on the Dolphins.
Yeah,
you
I said
literally
20
picked
points.
off all of them.
They're going to beat them by at least 20 points.
I don't know, man.
When it happens.
It could. It really could. I mean, the Ravens put a whooping on the Dolphins last week. Lamar Jackson's a stud, though.
And the Ravens aren't that good. I mean, they look good, but they look good because they played the Dolphins. I mean, they're a solid team, but they're no.
I don't know. You got to give
Lamar
Jackson credit.
Yeah. No, I'm not taking
an NFL team.
No, I get it.
True. What about you, Keith? Who you got?
I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to say the Patriots. That's what
3 for 3 on the Patriots, Kinto. There you go.
It's the obvious pick, the fire sale on the team. Obviously, they're in a rebuilding situation there. I think what we should do is, after this week, because usually, you know, every fantasy football season, there's a team where, like, if you're in the position where you're streaming defenses, you just pick one, whoever's playing the Browns, right? Because, you know, you're at least going to, your floor is pretty high. Dolphins might be in that kind of situation this year, so we might have to not ever bring up who's playing the Dolphins during this segment ever again for the rest of the year, because it might be way too obvious. I hope that's not the situation, and I hope the Dolphins actually put a product out there that can win games and be watchable. Yeah. But
let's put it this way, Keith. I agree, but if if we have to do this podcast to remind people in our fantasy football team that the Dolphins suck, then they don't deserve to be in our fantasy football league.
I really wish Josh was here to have to talk about that, man, because he's hurt right now. He's hurt bad.
Josh bailed. He'll probably come up with some way to say why they're doing what.
It was a tough one to watch.
Tank for Tua.
And it doesn't matter because then he always says he's the only team that's ever been undefeated. So it's a lose-lose in that battle.
Yeah, you never win that one.
72, baby. I was telling these guys earlier. I was like, super difficult. I didn't know. I think I took no phone calls on Sunday because I know everyone's calling me to talk smack about the Dolphins loss. But come back.
Rough.
Give me one Patriots win a year. I'll be good.
That's rough, man. I don't even know if you get that. I mean, I hope you guys win a game this year, to be honest.
Yeah, you're telling me. It's a tough season. Tough season.
All right, we won't keep bothering you. I'm sure you'll be getting it all year. You got a long year, Kinto, so good luck with that. But that's it for the first segment. But before we go on to the next one, Kinto does have to get going. He does have a big boy job, makes a lot of money, so he's got stuff to do. Got a little puppy to take care of. So the commissioner has to sign off. So farewell. Thanks for coming on to the show, Kinto. Thanks for being our guest next week. Maybe you started a trend. Maybe next week we'll have somebody different if somebody's interested. But thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you guys having me. You guys have a great rest of the show.
Peace.
Love you, buddy. See you later.
Later.
All right. Now we're going on to the next segment. This is Trickus's matchup of the week.
All right, my matchup of the week is everybody. Everybody's matchup matters today or this week because what was really crazy when I was looking at it is every person who won last week is playing someone who lost. So if you win, you could pull ahead 2 games to some people. If you lose, you're down 2 games to some people. So it's really important for those people who lost to kind of stay in it. And obviously, if you lose 2 games, it's not a big deal. You can come back and make the playoffs. But it definitely helps to have a good start to the season. And this early, I mean, it's hard to look at a team and know if it's, their strong points because it's only been 1 week. We're not going to assume that a player is a stud. We're not going to assume Larry Fitzgerald is a stud just because he put up those numbers, this week. So we're going to wait and see if he continues it.
Larry Fitzgerald is always a stud.
Larry Legend.
Yeah, but he also had a couple really long completions in that overtime.
Yeah, and it was overtime in general. So
yeah.
That's a cool point, Trickus. I didn't notice that until you just said it. So that that means that after this week, every person could be 1-1.
Yeah.
Every single team can have a 1-1 record.
Let's do it.
And I don't think that's ever happened before. So since I'm 0-1, I'm going to be rooting for that to happen.
I'm playing you, Jake, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I can make it. You can be 1-1, Keith. I can be 1-1.
Better hope Joe Mixon plays.
I got Gio as the backup.
Yo, he's got Kenyon Drake. He's good.
Yo, Kenyon, I would be better on any other team, Drake, but I'm still on the Dolphins.
Yeah, that really kills me. But that's a good point. Good point, Trickus. So pretty much every single matchup, and it's usually like that. Even if that wasn't the case, it would usually be like that anyways, just because this is week 2. So you don't really get into the real hardcore matchups until later on in the season. But that's a good call. It's pretty cool. So this is what we're going to do. Now we're just going to review a couple topics. That's the end of the second segment. What I really want to go over is, report a couple injuries. Tyreek Hill, Nick Foles. They're out. Tyreek Hill is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. And Nick Foles, he broke his clavicle, I think. So he's done. And
he's done.
It doesn't affect me. I don't even know who has Tyreek Hill, I think. I forget who has Tyreek Hill in our league.
Dorf.
Wow. Dorf had a tough week, man.
Dorf got absolutely decimated.
Oh, my gosh. That sucks. But I just wanted to
But let's not forget that he won it last year, so I don't feel bad. Sorry.
True.
Dude.
Oh man! But first, this is to everybody in the league. We still haven't decided. Just a reminder, we still haven't decided on trophy, and we still haven't decided on the last place bet. So I'm throwing that out there as well. We need to decide that before it gets too far out in the season. As far as what our last place bet is and what the trophy, if we're going to do the trophy, everybody throw $10, which I think is a good idea. So just throwing that out there into the group. But before we go, I want to end on this. What do you guys think of Antonio Brown? What a week he had. I want both of your opinions.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go first, since I was the person last week who correctly predicted that he would no longer be a Raider by the end of the season.
That's right. I forgot about that, Keith. In 1 week.
I did say that.
In 1 week, he was off the team. He didn't even play one snap. Keith
didn't even play a snap.
Nope. That's true, man. That's nice. That's a nice prediction.
Obviously. So we all want to live in a world where we are all innocent until proven guilty. So there are allegations out there that we've all heard about, sexual misconduct with his former trainer, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to knock him for it because we don't know if any of that's true yet. Obviously, there's people out there that'll come after your money, especially if you have a lot of money like a franchise wide receiver would. That being said, I think that dude is mentally ill. I think he has a 5th grade reading level. I think he is completely full of himself, and if this is the event that brings him back down to earth and humbles him a little bit, it probably won't. But and I can't express enough how much I hate the Patriots, and the fact that he landed on the Patriots, it just hurts watching it. Seeing it. I really hope that he's not successful, but odds are they could string this out in court. Even if it's true, he could play a bunch of games for the Patriots, catch a ton of passes, and win a bunch of those games, and we could be watching another Patriots Super Bowl, which would make me very sad.
Yeah, I think that's good input in the way the justice system works. It could be held out till next year. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all BS. But no, I agree. What do you think, Trickus?
I just want to tell him to shut the hell up and just play some football. At this
Absolutely.
point, I'm tired of hearing about this crap. And you know what? He's ruining his legacy. He's one of the best. Like Keith said it right. He's literally one of the best wide receivers in the league to play in the league. But everybody's going to remember for this dumb bullshit. And obviously, it's not his fault that he's getting allegations against him. But all of this probably wouldn't have been the case. I don't know, depending on the situation, I guess. But I feel like he just started things up, and everybody's looking at the spotlights on him, and it's all negative. So let's add some more negative news, and maybe somebody took advantage of the situation and jumped on it because he already looks bad. I don't know what the case is. We'll let them figure it out. But I really don't care. All I want to do is watch Antonio Brown play football and score fantasy points. And
exactly.
We'll see if it happens this year for the entire year. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. And if it is true, hopefully he gets what he deserves.
There's one thing I would like to kind of add and sprinkle into this, and Nico kind of touched on this in a group chat earlier. The Patriots being the evil empire that they are, Drew Rosenhaus being the high-profile agent that he is, and I saw a lot of this on social media as well. I would not be surprised. It probably won't ever come out. I hope it does if there's legitimacy behind it. But I would not be surprised if somebody was on the phone with Antonio Brown's camp. Antonio was pissed off about being a Raider, and somebody was in his ear like, "Listen, dude, do what you can to get out of that situation. Get off the team. We'll sign you." Because he literally signed to the Patriots. It was like what, 5 hours later, he's a Patriot.
Yeah. I called that too.
Yeah.
He was asking for a release. He wanted the release, and he was tempting the Oakland Raiders. He was basically asking for it, and in all the YouTube videos, it was all just a play to make him look better than he was. And
it could be.
I really think that it was a master PR plan by Antonio Brown and the people behind him to get out of Oakland and end up on a championship team. I really think that's what happened, and that's what we witnessed.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But to send it off, I just want to say good luck to everybody in week 2. Hopefully everybody has a 1-1 record after week 2. And
I don't second that notion.
Good show. Hit us up if
wanna...
you want. If anybody wants to be a guest, have a guest appearance next week, hit us up. But anything else?
My team is on the trading block. Anybody can check out my team.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Oh Lord.
We're ending it right there. Have a good one, boys.
All right. Love you all.
See you next
Peace out.
week.
See you guys.